Hello YouTube, and welcome to my Guild Wars 2 Secretly Meta series, and this is part 7. You can find the other parts on my channel, and for part 7 I will be showing the Revenant. My Revenant is running a condition build, but it's different than the one listed on Meta Battles called Condition Mallyx. That one uses Shiro form in Mallyx. I use Herald in Mallyx. So I will be going over traits first, as always, and I use Corruption, Invocation, and Herald. So Corruption is the main trait line for Mallyx, so it's a must-have. This is a massive Torment stack build. This build stacks a lot of Torment, and by a lot I mean I've gotten up to above 20 stacks of Torment on one person, though usually it's closer between 14 to 17 consistently, and that's just the Torment I inflict. I inflict a fair amount of burn, amongst other conditions, a little bit of chill, So, alright, now I'll get started with traits. So here we have critical hits cause chance to Torment. I'm using Rabid Amulet currently. There are other amulets that I will tell you about later that you could swap for Rabid if you like, but I use Rabid so that I can get the precision, so I can critical based on Torment, which is a huge part to why I can stack so much Torment at one time. And this trait, as you can see, with the high amount of condition damage I have, that Torment damage is significant. Right here is using the legendary Demon Stance, grants resistance, so because I'm primarily in Mallyx form, and I don't have a ton of Condi removal, except for this one no, that removes boons. This one grants resistance normally. Yeah, but there's no like condition removal on Mallyx. There's only like, you're supposed to take them on yourself because of the legendary Demon Stance, and it's more about condition manipulation rather than condition removal. So basically, since you don't have condition removal with this build, you have to run this in order to have resistance to all the conditions being put on you. If you don't want that, I've ran this one so that when you apply Torment it also applies Poison, but since that has a 20-second cooldown on it for only that one stack of Poison, and Poison lasts longer, it's really not that effective, and this is far better. Here we have Opportune Extraction, so striking a foe gives you a chance to remove a boon on that hit. So every 10 seconds you're basically going to remove a boon because you're going to critical a lot. Well, this is just striking, so basically you're just going to remove boons on hit every once in a while. It's helpful. Here we have used Banish Enchantment. This would be this one down here. So basically you use that when you strike a foe that has 2 or more boons. So what that would do is it damages, puts confusion on them. It'll also give you resistance because of this trait over here. And yeah, it removes boons, and it's unblockable as well. So that's very helpful. Here we have Torment lasts longer, always helpful with the Torment stack build. And here we have Diabolic Inferno, so basically you burn nearby foes when using an elite skill. So when I'm in Glint I like to use this a lot. I don't tend to use this in Mallyx form because the elite here is a really big drain on energy, and it's just really not worth it, to be honest, to use it. But if you do use it, it's going to stack 2 stacks of burning, and that is a lot of damage just from 2 stacks. Alright, so Invocation on the Revenant is basically a tree where there's like a little bit of everything, and it's good for any Revenant to take Invocation. So for Invocation we have here, or Gain Fury when you invoke a legend. So basically whenever you're swapping legends you gain Fury. Simple as that. So using a heal skill grants Fury. So basically it's not going to show up, but I gain Fury whenever I use a heal skill. Same for Glint. Because I have a whole lot of chance on crit type stuff, Fury is very important here, and then there's another reason why I chose Invocation, because of this final one here, that doubles the effectiveness of Fury. So instead of Fury giving 20%, it gives 40%, as you can see there. And my normal crit chance is already 46, almost 47%. So an added 40% puts me at 87% under most circumstances, because I do have Fury almost all the time. Actually, I will say all the time, because of Glint's facet that I can use, and the fact that simply healing and switching legends will give 9.25 seconds of Fury. So here, deal increased damage to targets while you have Fury. As I said, you basically have perma Fury, so you're always going to have a 7% damage increase. Here, you heal yourself when you use a skill that has an energy cost. That's every 5 seconds. This one it's just for fun. I mean, there's other stuff here that you can use Break Fury when you break a stun, or you can do this one that when you invoke a legend, it does the heal thing. But any one of these is okay, but I chose the middle one. And here, invoking a legend breaks stuns, so if you do choose this one, then this minor trait's really going to help you with that. But yeah, that's basically, I mean, you already gain Fury when you invoke a legend, so doing this as a break stun would give you a lot more Fury on top of that, and this just doubles Fury's effectiveness. Then for Herald, this basically gives you access to the demon stance, or not demon, dragon stance, and to your F2 up here, and to your shield and all the facets and stuff. Here is you gain toughness for each upkeep you're using. That means that for every facet on Glint that you're using, or if you're using Embrace of Darkness, your toughness goes up by 40 for each point. So this one goes down 7, so you take 7, multiply it by 40, and that's an extra, what is that, like 20, I'm so bad at math, 7 times 4 is, 2,800, no, 280, sorry. So 280 added toughness, and since this is a Rabid build, you get precision toughness condition damage. So your toughness goes up fairly significantly when you're using facets of the legendary demon stance. Here, gain increased endurance regeneration while you have an active upkeep skill. That would include your facets. So basically, while you have 1 on, your endurance is regenerating 25% faster, and that's for combat only. So basically, just keep a facet on at all times. I keep the Fury one on at all times, because, critical chance, and Torment on critical, stuff like that. Then this one is whenever you apply a boon to an ally, also apply Might to nearby allies. This is really helpful in my opinion, because when you have the facets on, you're constantly applying boons to allies, so every second you're going to give them a stack of Might. And so if you have this, and then you also have the Might facet on, you can stack like 12 stacks of Might on everybody just for free, just running around with your facets on. And so that'll also apply Might to everyone nearby just for having 1 upkeep. So really helpful for team support. Here I have increased boon duration, so pretty straightforward, no explanation needed. And increased damage per boon on you. It's 2% for every boon. That's another reason why I run legendary, or not that using a demon stance will grant resistance. It's just to get that extra 2% whenever I'm using base. Alright, so Amulets Rabid, like I said before, precision, toughness, condition damage. For the rune, I use Rune of Tormenting to get the maximum torment duration possible for this build. And when I use a heal skill, it applies 2 stacks of Torment. So I'm Torment stacking even when I'm healing. For weapons, I use Mace, Axe, and Sword Shield. Even though Sword Shield is a more burst damage setup and might stacking even, it's still really helpful. I mean, if you don't want to run Sword Shield, you can run Staff instead, I suppose, for more control. But Sword Shield is really helpful, because like I said, the chance on critical will apply to anything. So basically, you hit that number 3, that's a lot of hits, that's critical, that's still Torment stacking, and it is going to deal a fair amount of damage, even though our power is kind of pathetic. So it's worthy of running Sword Shield, in my opinion. And I run Sigil of Doom and Sigil of Torment on the Mace Axe. Sigil of Doom basically is when I swap, it inflicts poison. Like I said in the previous video, I really like poison, not just for the damage, but the fact that it helps negate bunker builds and cuts people's healing down so you can kill them easier. And Sigil of Torment is a big one because 50% chance on critical to apply an AoE Torment. And that has a cooldown of 5 seconds, so every 5 seconds it's basically an AoE Torment because, you know, you're criticaling almost 90% of the time. So, yeah. That's basically what that is, and then I have Torment on the Sword Shield as well, just because mostly the number 3 attack. And I put Sigil of Energy on it because usually when I swap to Sword Shield I need a more defensive strategy, as Mace Axe offers no defensive strategies. It's all straight condition damage. And I used the shield number 5 and the 4 to kind of get healing out, and use 3 as more of an evasion, you know, dodge roll around. This is more of the defensive weapon selection. And so that's basically it. Oh, right. So for amulets, if you wanted to choose something other than Rabid, you still need the critical hit chance, so the precision. So basically you could choose Sinister if you would like. So you could have power precision condition damage. It's going to make you a lot squishier or glassier, or, you know, a lot easier to kill because you don't have that toughness increase. But this would give you an increase to power and allow you to do a lot more damage with your sword shield combo. But you are going to die a lot faster. But you could run it if it's your style. You could also do Viper. That's a popular choice even for the condition Mallyx Shiro meta thing. They use Viper's amulet. Expertise is the term used for condition duration. So that's why they would use Vipers. So I would recommend either of those two if you're going to swap for Rabid. I guess Rampager is similar, but that'll give you more precision, which you really don't need so long as you're running the Fury trait. Now, on to how to use the build. So the main source of Torment is going to come from your auto attack, your number 3 attack, and your 5 attack on your weapons, your Mace Axe, and from your number 9 attack from Demon Stance. Your heal will also do the 2 stacks of Torment, so whenever you need a heal, just pop one, and that's Torment stacking still. So on your auto attack, your first 2 hits are going to apply the Torment, and your third does the poison. Your auto attack is pretty quick, as you can see there. The first hit's a quarter second, then the next one's half a second, and the last one's half a second, so it's not slow by all means. So you can stack, I believe it was 6 to 8 stacks with just the auto attack. Your number 2 puts an AoE fire field in front of you. You can combo off that with Echoing Eruption. It'll put like 5 stacks of might on you for doing that. The only downside is, you know, everything takes energy, and the Revenant you have to energy manage. So I tend to not use it because its damage, as it's good with the burns, it's nowhere near as much as the Torment. As you can see, like, it's 1300 damage for 5 energy. This one's 5 energy to deal 2000 damage. 2300, I mean, just base, and if they're moving, it does 4600, almost 4700. So as you can see the difference, the number 2 attack is pretty much worthless. I do not use it. The number 4 is Frigid Blitz. This is for chasing people. You basically throw your axe, it's unblockable, it chills them, and it puts you behind them. So it's really helpful for chasing, as the range is 900. And then your number 5 is also a range of 900, and this is another huge Torment stack, as you can see, and it does even more damage than your Echoing Eruption, but it does cost a lot more energy. So basically, it puts a rift in front of you, a line that basically pulls all of the enemies to it, and then applies Torment to them. And it's really nice, because you can, you know, line them all up, and then hit them all with the number 3, bam, that's 6 stacks of Torment, dealing, you know, roughly 6,000 damage, you know, from over the duration, of course, of the 10 to 14 seconds. But as you're applying more Torment, you know, it's thousands and thousands of damage per second. So you just got a basic heal skill here for Demon Stance. I don't use like anything from the Demon Stance except for the number 9, but if you need to, this one will allow team support, so you can use this to pull conditions off everybody and put it on yourself and give yourself a huge amount of resistance. But this isn't needed. I don't use it at all. It's got a high energy cost. It's not useful for this particular build. If you were to use it, you'd want to follow up with the Elite. For this one, you just deal damage and apply confusion, remove boons. I've already explained this one, why it's okay, but the confusion damage, as you can see, is not good at all compared to the Torment damage. Unyielding Anguish is the skill that stacks the most Torment out of everything. It's also a combo field dark, so you can get your combo finishers off with your Echoing Eruption. And basically it deals a small amount of damage, but then it continually stacks Torment and Chill to anyone who stands in it at a range of 600. And the radius is 2400 of the circle, so they gotta stay pretty close by, but since it chills them, it doesn't really matter. The energy cost is 30, so you can only use it maybe twice before you're about out of energy. So basically you use Unyielding Anguish, then you use your 5 skill to pull them back in to continue to apply Torment. You hit Echoing Eruption to combo field off the dark, and it'll stack more Torment, and by then they should have 9, 10, 11 stacks depending on how many times you criticaled. Then you keep following up with auto attacks to get up to that 17 stacks, and you can use your heal skill and stuff to apply more. Your legendary Demon Stance skill here it's okay, but I don't use it. It basically increases all your stats by 10%, continually stacks Torment on everybody, continually, you know, that's basically what it does. And yeah, it's just not worthy of using. So on to Glint. So Glint is your main source of team support and boon stuff. Your first one will give everybody regen. It's an upkeep of 1. So if you activate it, as you can see, I went from 5 to 4, and now I'm pulsing regeneration and might from the trait. That's when I give boons, it gives might, and then you can activate it to become immune to all damage, and everything is healing you instead. That's a get out of jail free card. Only use it when you're being zerged or you absolutely have to have health. You know, you're fighting a warrior that's about to use 100 blades, use it. It's going to heal you up. This is the one that I use more than anything else, and I keep it on during combat. This will pulse Fury, and then you could activate it to blind foes and reveal them for 5 seconds. It's also a break stun, so you could use it if you absolutely had to, but I just keep it on for the Fury bonus. As you know, it increases critical hit chance by 40, not the 20 that you see here, it's 40 because of the trait. Here's the Swiftness one. It's only an upkeep of 1. This will give you perma swiftness, and you can activate it, target the ground. It'll deal a large amount of burning damage, as you can see there. And that's basically all there is to that one. Yeah. So this next trait, facet right here, is stacks might. And this is what I meant by you can stack a ton of might on people, and you can activate it to put vulnerability on people. At the start of a match, you want to activate all 3 of these facets right here. This is an upkeep of 2, that's an upkeep of 1, and that's an upkeep of 2, which equals 5. So you activate all of those at the start of the match. Sometimes people will recommend you also activate this, but it'll be draining your energy, and by the time you enter a fight, you're already going to be lower on energy than normal, so I don't recommend that at all. So yeah, I'm basically pulsing up to 10 stacks, and then it goes back down a little bit, and goes back up to 10. So basically at the start of a fight, you just kind of activate these 2 facets, your swiftness and your might one, in order to get those off, and then you continue the fight from there. Your elite facet is not worthy of keeping as the passive, because it's an upkeep of 5, so you're not going to be able to gain any energy back while this is on, and it only pulses protection, which, you know, protection's really good for tanking purposes, but since this is not what this build does, and the fact that you can't get energy back at all is just bad. So I only activate this to immediately activate it, which summons giant wings, which will knock back enemies, and it'll apply the 2 stacks of burning because of the trait. Lastly, we have our F2 ability here. I don't use it for its upkeep, I use it to activate it immediately. Its upkeep is only 2, but its passive effect while it's on just increases boon duration 50%. So if you really wanted to, you could increase, you know, your might duration by a lot more by having this instead of like the swiftness one at the start of a match. But I don't recommend it. Just activate it and then just immediately activate it to gain all of those boons that you can see here. Sword Shield is pretty straightforward. Your auto attack is just vulnerability, just straight hack and slash, you know. Your number 2 is you just strike. This is a ranged attack by 600, and it chills as well, so pretty helpful there. But it's your number 3 attack that's the main damage dealer. Basically, this makes you consistently evade attacks, and you just constantly teleport to their location, striking them, and you're constantly evading. And it spikes a lot of damage, and it's a lot of hits. As you can see, it's 7, so that's 7 chances to critical, and, you know, get Torment, and it does a lot more damage than it says here. Your number 4 on the shield, you basically target a location and it throws out an orb. It heals people as it passes through them and grants protection when it comes back to you. It's unblockable as well. I don't know why it's unblockable. It's not an attack, it's only a heal. So, but it's unblockable regardless. And then your number 5 is it's similar to the warrior, but you have to be stationary for this. And it pulses 4 times, healing you for the 975 each time. So it's really nice. It makes you kind of invincible for 3 seconds. And so yeah, that's basically how the build works. Feel free to like and subscribe, leave a comment below with questions, comments, concerns, and have a good day.